Hey, my sparkly friends, it's Carole Jean here, and this episode is a little different. There's no prepare the soil or water and nourish, no route to practice for you this week, just a moment of reflection, real talk, and a hello from one human navigating life's curveballs to another.
Step out of the shadows, feel the power rise, catch the spark inside you, let your spirit fly, beyond the chronic burnout, Carole Jean's your guide, find your steady rhythm, nice joy on the tide, flourish forward, bright and bold, leave the burnout far behind, in this journey hearts unfold. Yours, seek and find.
So, I got stung by a bee last Thursday. It was really, really scary. I'm allergic and I also have MCAS. So, if you've been around for a bit, you know that. So the usual go-to treatments like epinephrine or steroid pack, they're just not an option for me because I also have POTS and it all of that really just doesn't work with my chemistry. So I'm left with just two options roughly. And let me tell you, it's been a rough 4 days. Today I woke up and I felt a lot better, but holy cow, this has been brutal, honestly. Yesterday was bad. Like Sunday, I felt better and I was like, oh, good, I'm on the upswing, right? And then yesterday, oh my gosh, yesterday was bad. Like I think looking back over the last couple of days, probably 4 or 5 days, 2 of those days, I basically slept the whole time. And, that's a little frustrating because I'm like one of those people. I'm like, I got stuff to do and I want to be out there outside, playing in my plants and this kind of stuff. But what's interesting is when I was stung, my husband and I were going into town to go pick up my new blood pressure medicine, right? And I guess this bee, it was either in the Jeep or maybe I walking out to the Jeep, it had gotten on my dress. And when I sat down, we were maybe halfway to the stop sign from our driveway. All of a sudden, I got stung on the inside of my thigh. And y'all, I got stung like 15 years ago was the last time I was stung by anything. And it was by some wasps and same spot. So I'm like, okay, well, of course, the first thing I do in my little woo-woo world is I go, what's the spiritual meaning of a bee sting? And it's, transformation and, all these different things. And I'm like, okay, this is tracking. There's the full moon's coming up on the 11th tomorrow. Well, the day that this podcast airs. And it's a strawberry moon, but it's also this season of shedding, of like purging and getting rid of things. And so I was like, okay, so I'm going to pay attention to that. But here's the thing. Instead of getting completely derailed by this bee sting or trying to power through or push through, I made a choice to treat it as an opportunity to deeply care for myself. That didn't mean like one big decision. It meant checking in with myself constantly over the last few days, not just once in the morning, like, oh, how do I feel when I first wake up? Because by the way, that is never a good barometer necessarily, because I'm always like 5 minutes later, I feel totally different. Not just when things felt hard throughout the day, but over and over again, I kept asking myself, what do I need right now? What's changed since, like maybe an hour ago or the last time I checked in? What does support look like for me in this moment? Because our needs are fluid, especially in a body and a nervous system like ours, if you are also a trifecta patient or you have co-occurring health conditions. So we had an Accelerate Circle office hours today. That's my small group for the UnVeiling Method. And we dove into a beautiful, rich conversation about something I think every single one of us needs to practice more: listening to the truth underneath our yes, no, and maybe. So we used 3 questions to guide our conversation today. The first one was, when I feel the urge to say no, what signals, physical, emotional, sensory, or intuitive, do I notice in my body or my mind? Now, we also ended up applying this across the board to like, well, when I feel the urge to say yes, what signals do I notice in my body or mind? And if there's a maybe, if I'm not really sure, how does that feel for me in my body, in my emotions, right? The second question we dove into was in moments of uncertainty, how can I pause and ask myself, is this a true yes, a no, or maybe it needs more time or information? I feel like a lot of us, we say yes to things because we want to people please. We don't want to rock the boat. We feel like, oh, it's not that big a deal. I'll just say yes. Or, oh, that sounds really fun. If you're like me and you're ADHD, you're like, oh, that sounds really great. That's exciting. Yes. And then you're like, oh, but then I've got like all this other stuff on my plate already. The third question we kind of dove into, and really, I love how we took the conversation. What simple language or phrase feels safe and true to begin expressing a no or even a maybe while honoring both my needs and my nervous system? This was one I really had to lean into a lot the last couple of days. And not with other people so much as more with myself. I had to find the language to like pause, to check in, to make sure I was honoring my needs and my nervous system. What unfolded in this conversation and just sort of in my practice of this and my exploration, I should say, compassionate curiosity, was this beautiful unraveling of patterns we've all held on to. And those patterns like people pleasing, going along to get along, conflict avoidance, that nervous system freeze or fawn response that so many of us, especially autistic women, know all too well. And here's what really surprised us. It wasn't just hard to say no to other people. It was just as hard, if not harder, to notice how often we say yes to things we never even checked in with ourselves about. Are you feeling that? You're not alone. Like projects we didn't want to take on, to-do lists that aren't actually ours. They might belong to our partner, our boss, our coworker, our kids. They're not necessarily ours, but we took them on. Tasks we're doing out of obligation, not desire. We realized the real personal power comes from pausing, from actually creating space before the automatic yes, before the avoidant no, before the freeze. And when we paused, we got real about what's a hell yes, what's a not now, and what's something that just doesn't belong to us anymore. So maybe this episode meets you where you are today, in the messiness, in the magic, or somewhere in between. Especially for those of you heading into summer with kiddos at home and routines flipped upside down. It might even be more important to pause and check in than you realized. Say yes when it lights you up and it gives you that hell yes feeling. Say no when your body says, please, not that again. And let the maybes breathe until they find their answer. You're not alone in this. The messy middle can also be your magic. And as always, we're right here walking with you. Just know that sometimes it's not the maybe, it's just not now. Sometimes it's just about the timing. It's like maybe tomorrow afternoon at 2:00, it'll be a yes or a hell yes. But right now, it's a not now. And that's something that kids don't always love. My kids did not love it when I would just say not now. They're like, okay, mom, but when? Well, I don't know when yet. And that's okay, because I think that's part of the conversation that we start to model and really have with not just our kids, but maybe with ourselves a little bit more. It's okay to not know, to have a not now, but to have this feeling like, I feel like it'll be a yes, but I'm just not sure when that is yet. But I'll let you know. So I'll see you next time, and take care of that beautiful self of yours, your sparkly, beautiful light. Just pause anytime throughout the week. Check the show notes below. I'll have those 3 reflective questions that we had in our Accelerate Circle today. And just begin to check in with the why behind your yes, your no, your maybe, or even embracing the not now. Take care.
Thanks for being here. It's been quite a ride. Energy mastery, let's turn the tide. Top shelf guests, dropping wisdom bombs. Join us next week, where the energy's strong. Beyond chronic burnout, we're breaking free.